Hey everybody, and welcome to this X-Plane 11 video. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of my favourite add-ons in the sim. It's called xOrganizer. xOrganizer is available over on the xplane.org store. The price as of time of recording is $12.50, and basically what this add-on allows you to do is select what scenery, plugins or aircraft you want the sim to load. This will lead to massive performance increases with your loading times, and it should help your FPS out a little bit as well. So after you purchase, you can download it and install it. It has its own executable file. Once you install it, point it towards your X-Plane 11 root folder. It'll scan all your scenery and add-ons and all that good stuff. And when it's done, you should be presented with a page like this. On this page, you'll see it has scenery, plugins, preferences, aircraft, and a couple of more options here for our scenery. We'll go through them. You'll notice on the top, it has either red or green. Red would mean off, green would mean on. Basically, if it's red or off, this program won't make any changes. If it's green, it will. Now, a handy feature with this program, it'll back up your files before it makes any changes, so it's real handy. So starting off with our scenery, as we can see, I've all my areas selected here. I have a default profile over on the right hand side of the screen. So if I want to create a new profile, select just a drop down, double click, give it a name. I call this one America, hit OK. And from here, I only want to have North American airports loading. Now, a couple of things you've got to keep an eye on. It's going to need mesh. If you have any ortho photos for North America, it's going to need them. It's going to need the roads and the overlays. It's going to need the default airports. And obviously your scenery. Everything outside of that, it doesn't need. So you can click everything else to off, or make sure it just shows red. Once that's done, you save your profile. If you launch X-Plane from within this menu here, it'll load up the sim with only the green area selected. That'll give you a huge boost to your loading times. You can mix and match with this. You can go ahead and make a new profile, call it Europe or Oceania or wherever. And as I said, it's the same system of just selecting what areas you want, save them to a profile, and then you're good to go. If you go into the plugins, it's pretty much the same idea. You can have your default profile. Everything can be turned on at the moment, which I usually have. You'll notice then with the weather, I have two weather engines. So I have SkyMax and Ultra Weather. Rather than having to uninstall all the plugins, I can just select which one I want to use. So again, you can name your profile just by double clicking it, select what plugins you want up and running, and then you can launch the sim from in this menu. This is really handy if you have Fly with Lua. Rather than going into each and every individual script, you can just disable them from this menu here. Next over, we have preferences. I don't use them a whole lot. Basically, it's just going to have a look for any of your stored X-Plane preference files. I leave that off. In aircraft, same deal again. You select what you want on or what you want off, save it to a profile number, and then boot your sim. This can be really handy if you're experimenting with a certain type of aircraft, or for example, you just want to fly choppers, you turn everything else off. If you want to fly jets, turn off all your GA, or if you want to fly GA, you can turn off everything else. The main objective and bonuses here, it's going to speed up your loading times. As we continue, we have scenery airports. Now, one thing to note, on your scenery profile back here on the left, if you only select your default or your American profile, for example, this is only going to show you what airports the sim is going to load up. If we were to select our default profile, which is everything, we go back into our scenery airports, it's going to load up the whole shebang, each and everything that you have. This is going to give you the name, the scenery package in which it belongs to, is it a 3D airport, and you can see a couple of other options, its location and where it is. You can also select show me all airports on the map, so it's really handy to zoom in to see, well, you spent money on all these add-ons, let's get the use out of it. So you can select an area where you want to fly with all these purchased airports. Next thing over, we can have a look at scenery coverage. This is really handy if you're going to be checking out where you have Ortho4XP installed. So if we were to click on Ortho Photos for Europe, it's going to load up all the tiles to see what's running in the sim, and it's going to show you where everything is. This is really handy if you're missing a particular tile, or if there's a tile not loaded correctly in the sim. So as we can see, this kind of faded yellow color is showing you where you have your tiles. The white indicates you're missing an entire tile, and if it goes darker yellow, it'll show you that there are more than one scenery tiles active. So up here, for example, if you just hover your mouse Down on the bottom right, it's showing you that there's two. So it's showing you the top level and then level 1. So on this, it's actually saying I have a shortcut. You can see it there, shortcut 2. So I actually have 2 sceneries loading there. That'll point me in the right direction. I can disable one of them, and that will help speed up my loading times. The last 2 options then, we have scenery versions and plugin versions. I've never seen any update links appear here, but it is kind of handy to see. It'll give you all the add-ons that you have, when you install them, and when they were first scanned. And if you want to find something, for example, we can go into, let's just pick pilots, Almeria Airport. If you click on that bar, open the folder, it'll actually open up that specific folder. So really handy to find. Moving back to our scenery, over on the right hand side, you'll notice we have a couple of more options. If we were to select on Scenery Toolbox, this is going to open up 6 new menus for you. The first one we're going to look at is the ground traffic. I find on some of the bigger aircraft in particular, I had issues with the 319 and also the Flight Factor A320. The aircraft wouldn't load up correctly. I was getting a green mess, and the panels and the textures wouldn't work. I found that if I go into ground traffic, you can turn on or off any of the ground traffic routes that come with these add-on sceneries. One major thing would be, in the last couple of videos I made, I've been using the new Las Vegas from Flight Tampa. I realized that when I deactivated all of the ground traffic, I got a FPS increase of about 10 to 15. Now, the downside to that, none of the fountains worked, I didn't have the monorail, and a lot of the city traffic didn't work. But again, it's user preference, it's what you want to see. Are you there for the flying, or are you there for the scenery? But certainly, by disabling some of these ground routes, or only keep the ones active in where you want to fly, save them to a profile, that will lead to performance increase. The next menu we're going to look at here is scan for missing libraries. This is really, really handy if when you boot up X-Plane it gives you a warning to say, we had a problem loading the scenery, check the log file. This here, if you were to select, okay, I want to look at all my European airports, scan for any missing files or libraries, and they will appear here. It just means then, okay, I need to go back now to the xplane.org or re-download the scenery for any of the missing libraries. So to recap, xOrganizer, in my opinion, is one of the best add-ons you can get for your sim. There is a freeware version of this available over on the X-Plane forums. It's a lighter version, I don't think it has any of the profiles, but by all means, if you want to check it out and see what results you're going to get from it. The program just gives you so much control over your sim. X-Plane, by default, it's going to load up everything. All your aircraft, your scenery, your plugins, the whole shebang. What xOrganizer does, it gives you back that control. You can tell X-Plane what you want loaded. One thing to watch, if you're going to select or deselect an area and then you decide to fly into it, it might lead to problems. So just a little bit of trial and error. Don't try and do a flight from the US to Europe if you're going to turn off Europe. It's not going to be pretty. So guys, that's it for this video. I do hope you found it helpful. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. It lets me know that you like these type of videos. And don't forget, I stream every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, both here on YouTube and over on Twitch. If you have any questions, comments or opinions, leave them in the link below in the chat. I do read them. And until the next time, look after yourselves, and I'll see you really soon.